What's going on, good people? Okay, we're going. Here we go. Canelo Crawford is on the horizon. Few days away. The excitement is through the roof. I I personally, when I heard about it, wasn't that excited, but as we all know how boxing is, the closer it gets to the fight, we just can't help it. You know, as boxing fans, we all just get amped up. So yeah, I'm completely, my head's popping through the roof on this one. This is going down straight up. There's a lot of things to talk about. I haven't made a boxing video in quite some time, but obviously this one bringing everybody out. So I'm like, so let me go ahead and open up my little YouTube channel again. Start bringing my put up the antennas. But yeah, here we go. All right, so I was thinking for this one, for this video, because I want to make a couple at least talk about this fight. It deserves it. It truly deserves it. So I wanted to make a couple videos, but for this one, I was thinking, what can Crawford do to beat Canelo, and what can Canelo do to beat Crawford? So let's make this one short and sweet. I believe that Canelo. Okay, let's go to Crawford first. Because he's the one he has a taller task in front of him. You know, he truly does. You know, going from 147 to 168. Yeah, everyone knows he fought at 154, but that was just one fight, and if anything, that was his tune-up. Which, by the way, I actually think it was a smart move for him not to take a tune-up at 160. I personally would have done the same thing. I would have just focused on my body, you know. I think it's been like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 months. It's been a long time. So yeah, I would have focused on my body, trying to get that right, and my conditioning. And I would have just been sparring bigger dudes in the gym, you know, like 168ers, 175ers. I would have told my coach, like, hey coach, tell him, I would have told the sparring partner myself, hey man, try to take my head off, you know what I mean? Like, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, I got to get prepared, like an actual fight. Cause I feel like there's nothing like the actual fight, you know, the energy and everything. So I think it was a good move. Like I said, there's a lot to talk about, so I'm gonna try to fit a couple points in this, other than just what Crawford can do and what Canelo can do to help him win the fight. So again, I believe one thing that Crawford can do to help him win the fight that I think would be very strategic, I think he needs to power punch on different levels. Like his power punching, he needs to, I mean, what I would do, I mean, I'm not going to say that he needs to, obviously, but what I would do if I was him is I would have like 3 different levels of my power punching. Like I'd have one I'd throw at no less than like 85%, you know. I'd have another one that I'd throw like at maybe 95%, and then I'd have that one at like 105% for my power punches. And I would throw the 85%, the first level, I would throw that mainly throughout the fight. And then I would try to make Canelo think that my 95% was my 105%. Like I would try to make Canelo think that, okay, I would try to make him think that my 95 is the strongest and most powerful power punch that I could throw. So he could be like, oh damn, this is all he got. It's like, oh, this is gonna be a cakewalk. And so I throw that 95% power punch, boom, 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 you know, throughout the first few rounds, you know, because Bud's gonna try to, you know, calculate and gonna try to strategize and try to, you know, break down Canelo, try to figure out Canelo, you know. So I'd throw that 85, the level 1, a couple times, you know, like even he can even like manipulate his facial expression, you know, to be like kind of for real, like completely sell it to make Canelo feel like, okay, like damn, that was almost his complete power punch right there. So I'd be like, you know what I'm saying? And then he just, you know, keep moving, not moving too much, but don't move a lot. But you know, he's gonna have to be elusive not completely elusive, but he's gonna have to be somewhat elusive for this fight, going up to fight Canelo at 170, 175, 168. So yeah, so I'd even put like the facial expression in, like you know, just make him think like, damn, make another thing like, oh, okay, like that's a pretty good power punch. And then like, and maybe in the fourth, fifth round, I'd throw that 95%, like you know, and make Canelo think like, oh, okay, damn, that was pretty much probably his strongest punch. Like I'd put my face in it, you know, I'd put different muscles into it, you know, a little bit more hip into it, and I'd make Canelo. I'd try to make Canelo, try to deceive Canelo to thinking that that was the most power he had, you know, on his power punch. And then in the seventh or eighth round, or whenever the time calls for it, the most opportune time, then I'd throw that 110, like because I would try to make Canelo put down his guard, you know, mentally. After that second level power punch, I would try to make Canelo put down his guard. Hopefully he would, you know, hopefully he'd put down his guard and be like, oh, it's over. Like, man, this guy don't stand a chance. I just felt his most powerful punch, and it didn't do nothing to me. So I would have him, that right there, you would think would make a boxer put down his guard a little bit, you know, like, oh, okay, I'm going in now, you know, I'm boom, boom, I'm gonna just not worry so much, or be so concerned. So, you know, then here comes Canelo, and then at the most opportune time, then Bud can just hit him with that 110% power punch, level 3, out of nowhere, and you would hope that it would be strong enough to, like, I think Canelo has an iron chin, so even his level 5 power punch, you know, which I don't think, like I said, I don't think you'd have a level 5 to 1, 2, 3. But even his level 3 power punch, I don't think can knock out Canelo. But I definitely believe Bud's most powerful punch can definitely stun Canelo, because we all know all it has to do is land boom right on the jaw, or boom right on the temple, you know. And especially if Canelo's not expecting it, especially if Canelo feels like Bud already exhausted all his power, you know, on his punches, then Canelo's gonna just be like, okay, he's gonna put down his guard, so he's not gonna want to roll with it as much. He's not gonna want to, you know, like tighten up his jaw muscles to receive the punch. He's gonna get caught off. Like I said, gonna get caught off guard. So then, that's when I think, when Bud's very smart. So I think when Bud sees that, that's when he throws that level 310% power punch, hoping to stun Canelo, and then wobble Canelo. If he stuns and wobbles Canelo, then Bud can throw 3-4 more power 110% power punches, because he's good at the left just like he is with the right. And yeah, he could put Canelo on the floor, and that could be enough to change the entire fight, the rest of the fight. I don't think he'd be able to stop Canelo right there, but that would be enough to, like, throw Canelo off guard. You know what I mean? You never know. It could be enough to stop Canelo right there. Really could. Or it could be, and definitely be enough to sway the judges. You know, he would definitely win that round. And then he would have Canelo scrambling in his mind like, damn, all right, like, now I gotta do something else now, maybe. So he might completely just make Canelo just kind of start, like, confused, like reaching into his bag of tricks blindly, not even really knowing, you know what I mean, like what to do, because he just got stunned. So now he's like, oh shit, what should I do? So I think that right there could really truly help Bud if he was to do that. You know, if he was to, like, put different levels on his power punch. I think that I think would be like his best like strategy, you know what I mean? That, more for me at least. I mean, like I said, I'm no pro boxer or anything like that, but I would put that, you know, in the bag right there. And that's something I would, like, really focus on trying to get Canelo with, you know. So yeah, because I was sitting thinking like, man, you know, what can Bud do that, you know, could really, like, give him the advantage, could really, you know, set him over the top to win this fight. And I think putting different levels on his power punches, I think that right there, I think, could definitely just be the deciding factor for sure. So that, I feel like, something that Bud can do to help him win the fight. One thing I feel like Canelo can do to help him win the fight, and as we all know, Canelo's the natural 168 pounder. I believe he's the most power. He's a more powerful puncher. He's a I believe he's still a stronger dude. You know what I mean? I think he's a stronger boxer. I mean, yeah, Bud is a beast. At like I seen Bud wrestling with Shannon Sharp. I seen Bud wrestling with Shannon Sharp, and Bud is super strong. But Bud's also smart. You know, wrestling is a lot about like leverage. So Bud knows how to work his leverage, and he's super strong. You know what I mean? He has good balance and all that. But I still believe Canelo's a stronger fighter, though. I really do. I mean, it's just a stronger, because he's bigger, man, and he has more power. So I give him the edge on strength. So a lot of people feel like Canelo doesn't really have to do much to win the fight, but just basically be Canelo. Just be Canelo. But I think that one thing Canelo can definitely do to help him, win the fight and pretty much like secure it is in the first round he should come out guns blazing. You know what I mean? Straight up, like, because we all know that Bud wants to download. Bud likes a lot of great boxers. They like to download. They like to sit there and they want to map out what they're gonna do. They're trying to figure out the boxer. They're trying to figure out their opponent. So I think Canelo should not let Bud do that whatsoever. I think from the bell one, Canelo should just completely throw a wrench and get in Bud's game plan. You know what I mean? He should just go out there and just, I'm talking about attack like if it's the 11th round and Canelo's losing. You know what I mean? Like, just be on the front foot, be aggressive, because Canelo has an iron chin. So I wouldn't be too afraid of getting, and I wouldn't even expect Bud to even be able to, because a lot of boxers like to warm up too. That's another thing. They like to break down their fighters in the first couple rounds. They like to really like map out, in the first 3-4 rounds, to like strategize, but they also like to warm up. So I feel like if Canelo was to go out there in the first round and just start hitting him with power punches, start hitting Bud with power punches, and putting Bud on the back foot and being very aggressive, I don't even think Bud's gonna expect that. So I don't even think Bud will be able to throw his hardest punch, his level 3 power punch, because I feel like he'll just be a little bit caught off guard, a little confused about everything. So I don't think he'd be even warmed up enough to throw his most powerful punch. And I think Canelo, being the bigger guy, I think has a better chin. Well, they both got pretty good chins, but Canelo's at 168 naturally. Took punches from Triple G, Bivol, all the big hitters. So I feel like he definitely has a better chin. So the first round, Canelo goes out there, boom, very aggressive, putting Bud on the back foot. Not even necessarily to try to stop the fight, not to even try to like hurt Bud, but just mentally to throw Bud off. To not let Bud try to sit there and download. Not let Bud try to configure the fight. So I think that's one thing that I would work highly in Canelo's favor. And I've seen a couple people talk about that too. Now I agree 100%. I'm like, yup. I'm like, that's what I would do. I was like, that's exactly what I would do. I would have definitely. You gotta be vigilant. You definitely gotta be vigilant. You gotta have some. You have to have a careful. Watch on the possible dangers. But Canelo, like I said, he can take a punch, man. So if he was just to go out there, throw a couple flurries, be the aggressor right from jump. I think that's gonna put Bud behind a couple rounds automatically, as far as trying to download and trying to figure out Canelo. I think that's gonna put him behind a couple rounds already. So instead of trying to figure out Canelo, by the 4th, 5th, now I think it's gonna take him to the 7th, 8th to figure out Canelo. So that's one thing I was thinking about. I'm like, man, I was like, I think that would be wise of Canelo to just go out there in the first round and just start putting it on Bud. Just be aggressive. Just be aggressive. Throw power punches, throw combos. Canelo's head movement, I believe, to be honest with you, is probably the best in history. No lie. The reason why I say best in history too is because he's actually the aggressor. He's actually right there in front of you. Like Nicolino Locci, that dude had incredible head movement, but he also was a little bit more elusive. Canelo's not trying to be elusive. He's actually like, he's in your face with that head movement. Like, he's actually going forward, and it's nuts. So I think Canelo probably has the best head movement in boxing history, and he has that chin. So Canelo shouldn't worry too much about his reflexes and not being able to dodge a punch from Bud. You know, and like I said, Bud's not going to expect that. Bud's planning for everything. I know he is, but he doesn't expect Canelo. No one expects Canelo to come out in the first round and just start throwing flurries and combos and being all aggressive. Canelo doesn't do that. You know, Canelo's a great boxer, and your typical great boxer, it takes him about four rounds to get going. You know, because they like to break you down. They like to map out what they're gonna do. You know, they like to try to see, you know, your tactics, and you know they're trying to, you know, spot your tails. You know what I mean? So I feel like that would be beneficial to Canelo when he comes out there, first round, aggressive. You know, so oh shoot, dang, it's about to die. Well, it's okay. I'm done anyways. So yeah, that's what my thoughts on what I feel Bud could do to help him win the fight, and what I feel Canelo can do to help him win the fight. So yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think. You know, like I said, I've already seen a couple people talk about how Canelo should come out there and jump on him. But like I said, I don't think you should come out there and jump on him to try to knock him out. I never thought that. I think you should try to come out there and jump on him to try to confuse Bud and not let Bud try to download that information. And I think Terrence should definitely put levels on his power punches, so he can deceive Canelo, manipulate him, and catch him off guard. But we're gonna see. A few days. What are we today? Tuesday. So yeah, we're only like 4 or 5 out. Man, it's going down. 5 out. Where is that? Yes. We was like a little like a kid when I was back in elementary. So yeah, here we go, you guys. This is truly exciting. Truly exciting. Oh, if Netflix buffers this fight, I'm done with Netflix. I'm serious. This fight is too big for them to be buffering. Like this isn't no Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. Like that was buffering horribly. I turned it off and went upstairs. It wasn't no big deal. This one buffers. I'm for real. I ain't watching no more Netflix fights. They're dead to me. Seriously. So yeah, I appreciate everybody for taking your time watching this video. Let me know what y'all think. If that's some like wise words or some wise strategies. And yeah, man, here we go. Going down. Vaya con Dios. I'll catch y'all on the next one. I think I'm gonna do one more about, oh yeah, will Canelo get robbed if it goes the distance? Because a lot of people are saying heck no, but I'm not. I ain't gonna say robbed, but I think they'll give it to Bud if it goes the distance. I'll tell y'all why on the next one. Paz. Adios.